What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2, the perfectly pocket-sized podcast for fans of this amazing hybrid console that has stolen our hearts and minds, the Switch 2. I'm here today as a duo with my buddy David. Clay could not make it, but that's okay because only David and I have played the game we're going to be talking about today, which is the bundle pack of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. The get to know you question is going to be bundled into our first unpacking of the topic. But one more thing, I got a code for the game. Thank you, Nintendo PR and all that. I will be unfiltered with my responses of what I think of the game. So honest review here so far. And then David spent his own hard-earned money on the game, so you can be doubly sure and you don't have to take any grains of salt with his comments. First up, our experience with the game. I'll go first. Back in the day, David, I got this game with the Wii and I played the Wii and it was great. And then I sold my Wii because there was just a lack of content after a while. I got the itch so bad to play again. I rebought the system to play these games specifically again. That's how much I enjoyed them, and I had the itch to play. So I was a fan. I've played both games before. One of the big questions in my mind was, did I beat them to credits? I don't recall, but I remember everything that I played in my first hours with these games I've seen before. So I know I played the hell out of these games. I love them. How about you, David? What's your prior experience with the game?
Yeah, so I was a late comer to the Wii. I really was sort of unmoral. I did not like the gimmick. I was very disappointed in the
Really?
direction that
No Wii
Nintendo took.
Sports for you? No bowling in the
No,
living
I
room with grandma and
no,
grandpa?
I got it way later when basically after I think around the time the Wii U was announced.
Uh,
Because I saw that, oh look, there's going to be traditional controls again. I think I want to go back to Nintendo, so sort of anticipating for that shortly after the Wii U announcement, I got a used Wii, and I got Smash Brothers Brawl and Super Mario Galaxy. I think those are the main two games. Oh, of course, I think I got Skyward Sword at some point later, perhaps. Um, oh
so you
no, I
played
didn't.
with your
Yeah,
Wii
yeah.
later in life, where I started playing with my Wii as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I possibly could. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, because I was for that generation, I was pretty much 99% PlayStation 3. Um,
I
Sadly,
think
as a big Nintendo fan, that was sad. But honestly, at that time, especially even back to the GameCube generation, it felt like PlayStation had more games that I liked. They were putting out all these cool 3D platformers like Ratchet and Clanks, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter. And it almost felt more like the thing that I liked more than what Nintendo was doing at that time. And then that changed dramatically with where things are now, where it feels like no one but Nintendo makes games that I want anymore.
y-
So yeah,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
yep.
Mm.
So yeah, I eventually picked up the game again for the Super Mario 3D All Stars, and I completed it a second time to credits. I don't think I've ever 100%ed it, but I've played it twice through to credits. So this is
Damn.
my third time purchasing a copy of the first Super Mario Odyssey. The second one, I actually got it when it came out because the time between Wii and Wii U was so short for me that I ended up getting it when it was released digitally for Wii U, which I believe was also very close to when the Switch was going to come out. So I started the Galaxy 2, never finished it, and then I just kind of went full in on Switch because that was the thing. So I never got around to finishing the second game, just because of was always the new console coming out. I didn't get it on Wii because of Wii U, didn't finish it on Wii U because of Switch,
Yep.
and this is my second time, I guess, purchasing the second one. So that was definitely the one that I went into more with this new collection because I have completed it, so it is mostly new for me outside of the first couple worlds or so.
It's interesting. I'm glad you brought up the 3D All Stars because the big story here about this game, we're fans, right? We
Mhm.
like the Mario in this form. It was a success by all measures. Critically, we liked it. You know, you're enjoying too as you play it now. But the whole controversy with this is that Nintendo already sold us 3D All Stars, said it was a limited time only. You got to buy this 3-pack here if you want it physically. We're in a stop of run, and they've included this in a package already. Now you have over here Galaxy 1 and 2 in a package, and it's like they're trying to sell us on it again. We're going to talk about the value in the end because I think you have to pair that with the is it worth it based on what you're getting and the packaging, the pricing, the more scummy aspect of it. So we'll hit it up at the end, but I did want to the big thing for me was to say that I had an amazing time with the game, which was surprising because I thought, having come out of Donkey Kong Bonanza and the open world, like freedom, like get the banana any way that you can figure out how to get the banana, even the challenge levels, like there's ways around them. If you want to cheese it, if you want to, get the extra, third banana and do it like faster, you can use your move set with some creativity.
Mhm.
But the way that these games are set up is there's only one way to get the cookie. You climb the ladder to get to the fridge, to get to the cookie jar, and that's it. But it's so well done. And I was surprised that it held my attention because whereas Bonanza does have this as well, abilities and different things to keep it fresh. That's common with this game because I'm like, I like Cloud Mario. I like the
Mhm.
Drill Mario. I like the Bee Mario. I adore the Bee Mario, actually. And it's fun to use. And every time I thought that the controls were going to break on me, as long as I was playing with the dual Joy Cons, like detached, it felt great to like move the Joy-Con around to pick up the bits. And I remember you doing that a lot more this time around than I did originally, because before I was like skipping all the picking up the bits, but now I found myself like
Mm.
multitasking and enjoying that I had to do that. So bottom line is the level design, the way that the worlds are set up in both games, even though it's like different, like the world map and how to get there, it kept things fresh, and the crafted, tailored, more
Mhm.
linear experience still works. Like I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. What did you think coming from Bonanza, and what did you think of the gameplay? Does it hold up?
Yeah, I mean, they're three. Nintendo's pretty much outside of, I'd say, Super Mario Sunshine having some questionable design. I
Fuck
think.
Sunshine. I said it.
I think their mainline 3D Mario series is fantastic, and I actually kind of like seeing these two together in the same in the same package, because I think Galaxy's Two's biggest weakness is it's kind of, it feels a little bit like very long DLC. It doesn't really feel like an entirely different game.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
just kind of, oh, now there's Yoshi, who I'm not as much of a fan of controlling Yoshi. And then the world map is being dramatically simplified.
Yeah.
So I still prefer the first one out of the two for sure. Um, but I feel like having them together almost makes me appreciate the second more, because it doesn't feel like this. There's not this big long wait, and in between the two to get a game that's not really changed as much. But when they're both together, it's like this nice package of just 3D Mario goodness. Another thing I wanted to mention too is you mentioned the Joy Cons, and this game does work entirely without them. As I am one of those people with zero interest in ever using a Joy-Con in my life, or a Wiimote for that matter. I've been all my time playing through it. I used the Switch 2 Pro controller, and
With gyro,
yeah, and I was
and you were fine with that?
mostly, some of the Yoshi bits were a little odd,
Oh,
but
it's such a headache. That's
yeah,
why I stopped. I was
yeah.
playing with controller. Um, for those who aren't familiar, if you somehow don't know, like originally would move with a Wii Wiimote, a cursor that would point at things, and you can hold the button, and it will like kind of not warp you, like pull you there like a tractor beam.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Yoshi in Mario Galaxy 2, his tongue would like extend to where you're
Yeah.
pointing, and you had to keep cursoring over. But in the game, when you play handheld or when you play with a pro controller, it's all gyro. So
Yeah.
where you're moving the controller is where the cursor's going.
So
I found it
mm,
unplayable. Unplayable. I with Galaxy 2. Like couldn't do it.
I think it's awkward, but I guess I just kind of got the hang of it. Also depends on what position you're sitting in. If you're in a really
True.
weird position, like
True.
some people game and just like, yeah, cool, I'm going like
Yeah.
this, sprawled out over the couch. It's not gonna
You
work
can't do
out for
that.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you pretty much have to be kind of in a sitting position. And thankfully majority of the stuff, like it's not always Yoshi. Yoshi's just like something that pops up in certain levels.
And he's optional, I think. I think you could technically like skip him.
Really. So to
Like
me there was
they give
some
him the egg and
mhm,
then I'm pretty sure you could go past him.
hmm.
Oh no, you're right. You can't because of the
Yeah.
tongue thing. Never
Yeah,
mind.
because you're
So
still
yeah, you're
yeah,
kind
you're
of
stuck
stuck doing
using
it.
them. So but I found it to be not frequent enough to like really ruin the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish that would be one of my complaints with the game is I wish there was um instead of like there was more reworking of the controls. Like would it matter if when I'm using a controller, say I could just like auto target the things that I'm supposed to highlight with the cursor, and then just hit a button to grab on. Like some kind of
Yeah.
auto targeting would have been great.
They do something in the menu where you can use the cursor as well to just
Hmm.
navigate to start your file and start the game. And if you just hit the D pad, it'll auto select whatever's closest there.
Hmm.
And they could have done it that way. There's like very little explanation that I found about like how to do this and what's going on. And like you said, surprising like zero settings to like adjust sensitivity or any shit like that. It's pretty nuts.
Hmm.
Again, I had to play with the Joy Cons detached, but once I did, it's like when you were playing with the Wii and you could play with your hands completely relaxed at your sides. And I found that to be, I missed it. And, I don't use the detached Joy Cons playing anything usually with the Switch 2 gen yet, but doing this felt great. And I'm glad that you talked about 1 versus 2 because to me, 1 was way better than 2 in all
Hmm.
respects. I played the first, there's like chunks, there's different terminology, but basically I played a good chunk of both games. And 1 just had the superior intro. It had the superior overworld map and the hub. I even found the levels and the enemy design to be better. Like,
Hmm.
and you could see stark comparisons. Like, there's a boss that was kind of like a remix in 2 that was just in a level in 1 in one of the first like areas, and it was like a better experience. It's like the cutting room floor scrap ideas got into 2. I did not remember 2 being not as good as 1 as
Hmm.
much as I've experienced it. So I agree with you. Interesting. I mean, it's just so linear, the overworld map in
Hmm.
2. And it's not that it, I don't know if it like it, I think it's an effort thing overall because again, in the beginning, the intro of Galaxy 1 is fire. It's like these airships are coming in and it's like bombarding and like you feel like tense. And then the second one, it's just like, oh, big Bowser, and then like he's gone within seconds, and it's just they just start you up. So I don't know. I was surprised how much I enjoyed 1, and I agree with you that Yoshi. I remember him being cooler, or he's just there's not really too much to him. He doesn't. I think you're a little faster when you run, but
Hmm.
very interesting. The other thing I wanted to touch on was graphics in handheld. I played in handheld, like just attached,
Hmm.
Joy Cons handheld. I thought it looked. That's how I started. I thought it looked decent. I wasn't blown away. I wasn't. I had like I just thought decent. Once I hooked this baby up to my 4K. I don't know what it's hitting when it's docked.
I
It
believe it's
looks
4K.
good. It looks
Yeah, it
good.
does. It looks better
I
than All
was like,
Stars.
I
Yeah.
told my wife right away. I was like, she's like, "Is this a new game?" I'm like, "No," and I'm like explaining to her,
Hmm.
like this is the old one. It looks good.
Hmm.
I was surprised. What'd
One,
you think?
yeah, one thing I really love about how it looks is it doesn't really mess with your memory of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks
Mm-hmm.
really good, and
Yes.
you wouldn't even know that the textures have been almost completely replaced unless you compared
Mm-hmm.
it to the original game,
Yeah.
because they're so faithful to it. So everything just looks crisper and then
Yeah.
higher resolution. The only thing that bugs me, I can't remember if this was digital, might have been Digital Foundry that pointed it out. But there is color banding where
No
a lot.
way.
Yeah, and the review pointed it out. Now I can't unsee it. So a lot of times you'll see like this granite color effect on like the sky and stuff in certain places of descending colors. And it wasn't
Hmm.
like that in the original game. Um, and now I can't unsee it. So I don't know if I would
Digital
have even
Foundry
noticed
strikes
that if I
again.
hadn't watched the Digital Foundry,
Yeah.
whatever YouTube video that was that pointed out that that was not in the original, and it doesn't look quite, that particular part of it doesn't look quite as good as the original. But still, all around, everything else looks way better. They redid the HUD is new. It's new. I think it's the same HUD from All Stars,
Mm.
but still, yeah, it's
So
great.
I want, again, completely honest, the bad parts, because there are graphical issues, stand out so much because, again, it looks sharp, it looks smooth, the colors are great, like it's just, everything's, the shiny things are like shiny, it's great. Then in Mario Galaxy 2, there's lava that looked like dog water. It
Hmm.
looks so bad, and I was like, I wonder if the game's like glitching out, but I that was just it. I'm not articulate enough to
Yeah, I
say what was bad, but then I played Galaxy 1 and looked at that lava, and I'm like, this is not that at all. This
yeah.
is done good. This is
I,
right.
I wonder if it's just as simply, I haven't seen this, so I'm just speculating. Um, and maybe you just ran across a part that didn't have a replaced texture. So maybe you're seeing like
I don't
the
know.
original texture alongside all the new ones they redid, and then it just makes it look that much
It
worse.
stood out like a sore
Yeah,
thumb, and
I
this was
didn't
like
notice
here and
this.
there.
Okay.
Um, one more thing, going back to the controls, because now that this was a huge sticking point for me. There are very tight turns in some of these areas. You're fighting a boss, and the whole like thing to dodge his mouth while he's coming down, but make sharp enough turn on like a second delay to like hit his neck bone. So he comes down, and then you're hitting a ball on his back, and it requires precision. Or you're in this dome, whether it be like a crater or like a bonus world, and it's a sphere, but the sphere is relatively small, and you're running on the inside of it, and you have to make quite sharp turns. I got issues with my control where when I had to make a real sharp turn,
Mhm.
it's like the controller got confused about what directional input I wanted, and Mario would just like hiccup or stop for
So,
a second. Did
w-
you experience
were
this at
you
all?
what were you on the Joy Cons with this, or were you on?
This was, yes, this was on the Joy
Okay,
Cons,
because I've
correct.
experienced that in general when using Joy Cons.
Oh, is it just
Just
the
because your
sticks?
hands are at different positions, and sometimes your
Oh,
brain can just get confused about which way you're moving the joystick.
yeah,
That's one of
that
the
could be
reasons
it.
I don't like them.
Because I was playing super relaxed too. So like
Yeah,
my hands were probably like
yeah.
any number of ways at my
So yeah,
side.
your brain thinks you're moving it one way, but it's actually not, because your hands are separated. It's harder to gauge which way you're actually moving the stick. My guess, because I didn't experience that using the Switch controller, but I've experienced that in other games that made me use the separated controls before.
Hmm.
That's my
Hmm.
guess. Um, but yeah.
There's there's a there's a level where you're riding on a stingray,
Hmm.
and you're on the water that's suspended in the air. It's very fantastical, and it just looks gorgeous. Like as I was playing it, I was like, this looks like it could have been made today. So from a graphical standpoint, it's really good. It has some flaws, but I'm very happy. And again, I it's been a while since I played 2. I did play All Stars, but it's been a while since.
Hmm.
I just have to say that if you were going for a remaster type thing, there's no way to really say that they messed it up except for control wise. Like
Hmm.
they pretty much delivered. Which brings us to this. It's a repackaged thing. It's an old is new again. It was good to begin with, but is it worth it? With the $30 separately, $70 as a bundle if you want both
Mhm.
games together. The whole big question is it worth it? And then to me, there's something in therapy that I learned about acceptance. And it's like you're going to be more frustrated with something if you haven't accepted it as fact. Like if I hit traffic every day at the exact same time I get out of work and I'm expecting there or hoping
Mhm.
there to not be traffic, you're going to be much more upset than if you just accept there is traffic. It takes me 40 minutes to get home
Mhm.
instead of 15. Just that is what I have finally and deep down have accepted. If you accept that Nintendo charges a premium, then it doesn't hurt as much. Then you're like, you know what, these
Yeah.
games are good.
And
You know, they
they're
and
yeah.
then you accept it and it's not so bad.
To me, they're worth $25 each. Like I think we have
Are
this.
they worth $30 each? Because they're
Well,
$30 each.
well, if you get them both together, then they're
Oh yeah, you're
$70.
right.
Yeah, which I feel
Wait,
like most people would.
no, it's 35 each, right?
Oh, you're
35.
right. Sorry.
So it's
Okay.
40 separate, 30
Yes,
each.
I can't do
There we
math.
go.
30. Yeah.
Correction.
Yes. We can't do math.
Okay. We
I
can't
mean,
do math. I know it's
yes.
70 for the two games together.
Yes, and that's
So
what I
they're
paid.
worth
That's what I paid.
$35 each. And I would say 100% agree.
Yeah.
You know,
We have this
whether you played them before or
Yeah, we
not,
have this bias, I feel, recently was like if a game is old, it's not worth it. Like I've spent
it's hard. Yeah.
like the amount of money I spent on Borderlands 4, like I feel like that was less worth it than this. Like
Really?
these newer games that just demand this really and crazy premium upfront if you get it day one. Whereas
Hmm.
Nintendo stuff, at least I feel like I don't usually feel like I'm getting something that's not worth it. And there's so
Hmm.
many other times I've spent outrageous amounts to only realize like, oh, now you got to buy a season pass to actually get the stuff you wanted, or half the game feels like it's missing. That's the stuff I really hate. It's like these games, they're already been released, they're set in stone, they're classics. I think they're worth it. The one caveat I would add to this, speaking of Super Mario 3D All Stars, I would have much rather this game almost just completely replaced that game as like Super Mario 3D All Star Discs like expanded edition or something.
Hmm.
Um, and I would have liked Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. Regardless of what you think about that, I think that those games, there should be a way to purchase those games for the Switch. Now the only way to do so is paying outrageous amounts on eBay to get a cartridge. I know that Mario 64 is on Switch Online, but as I said, that's a subscription, and Super Mario Sunshine will as well. But the R-style version of Sunshine does have like 16:9 widescreen and some stuff that version's probably not going to have. So I would have
Hmm.
liked this whole package to include like the whole lot of 3D Mario games. That would add a little bit more value as well.
Yeah.
Especially since the original package, you got 3 Mario games for about the same price. Now you're getting 2 for about the same price. So
I much rather would have preferred the bundle to be $60
mhm.
and that would have been like even better.
Yeah.
But like you said, we are addicted to the deal and like the Steam sale and getting like premium quality for like nothing. But there's a lot to these games. These games are meaty.
Yeah.
And there's optional challenges. There's end game to Galaxy 2 that is substantial that I have not hit yet, but I plan to because I definitely didn't the first time around for whatever reason. So there's value to be had
Mhm.
here. So overall, I would give it a buy recommendation quite easily actually. And that's even if you've played them before. I think it's worth it to experience it again
Mhm.
now. Just it looks that good when you turn it on. It will look like like it was made now, which
Yeah.
is
And
interesting.
yeah,
Like it doesn't feel old. It doesn't feel
and
old.
I think we as gamers need to um, come to terms with how we re-experience. Like I don't feel like there's enough of us sort of re-experiencing classic games outside of like the insular retro game community as like the same way we would experience classic movies. Like these should be games you're
Mhm.
always, these are classics. These are stuff you should always want to go back to and
Mhm.
own and have in a position of prestige on your shelf.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and I feel like with the way the industry is going, we're gonna want to do that more and more. So I think, you know, deal with, you're gonna want to pay premiums to, most people would spend, you know, a lot to get their favorite movie and like the best quality imaginable. And I think, you know, doing that, we shouldn't just expect these old classic amazing games that are better than the majority of stuff released today to be inexpensive anymore. I think everyone's kind of realized that there's a market for this stuff now. I don't think just because a game's old, you should expect it to be like $5 or $10 anymore, especially
Yeah.
for the good stuff. At least for the good stuff. Obviously, a 20-year-old game that sucks, you're probably going to get it for $2 on Steam. But there's a
Yeah.
reason for that.
Again, it's acceptance for me. Like when you understand, there are certain situations where I will straight tell you that, it's not worth it. But in this case, it's enough, which is good. That's not the case always, the way Nintendo pulls their stuff. But again, it's a buy from me. Thank you everybody for joining us for another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2. This is it, David. We're coming up on the holiday season. The bangers are coming. We got Pokemon coming. We're gonna have coverage on that. We're gonna do the Metroid stuff. We're gonna do the Kirby game. I think we're gonna do all this. There's a lot of games coming in a short amount of
It's
time. We're wrapping up the year.
I'm so struggling right now. There's so much I want to play. You can replay just came out and it's
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
amazing. I don't want to play anything else, and I guess Pokemon's supposed to come out soon, and I don't feel like I
yeah.
can really even pick that up on launch because I don't want to play anything else.
Oh my God, it's jam packed. Everybody, we'll see you next time.